This video, or Santa will find you and he will deal with you himself. How's it going, everybody? I'm Jason Ward from MakingStarWars.com, and Rob's a ghost again, and Sigourney Weaver's behind him.
Bro,
hey, Sigourney.
Sigourney Weaver. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm actually not about blonde Sigourney Weaver, but I am about whatever you call that top thing.
Yeah, it's a brilliant film. $3,500, Jason.
Oh, for
$3,500 for smelly tethered AR goggles. I told you that thing would be dumb, dude.
Well, tell them what it is. They don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, you people aren't in the know?
They don't care. I mean, they might care when you tell them how stupid. Well, I mean, they don't know.
Right.
They probably don't care. But it's. I mean, I care. You know, like Luke Skywalker, I care. No, it's it's the Apple VR AR augmented reality headset fucking thing,
goggles,
and the only people who can afford it are the people who are causing the writer's strike in Hollywood. That's it.
Beyond that, like, it's like, oh, you only use your hands, no joysticks. I'm like, well, that fucking rules out games. Like, other than picking things up and punching people, like, I gotta tell you, the best games are not the ones you swing your hands around. They are like now playing like RTSs perhaps, but even then you still need a controller, you know.
Some games have really good like hand, you know, like the hand tracking can be really good for all. I mean, I'm not trying to stick up
but if you're holding a lightsaber, you don't want to pretend to hold a lightsaber. You want to be physically feeling like you're holding a lightsaber. And let's be honest, around these parts, the best VR is Star Wars VR, right, Jason? We can admit, right? Like,
but I would also say that, like, if the hand tracking was to work, like in the pretend way, you could just optionally pick up a lightsaber that you have and use that.
That's
and
true.
It would work.
Yeah, you got me.
I mean,
more Wii peripheral. Remember the Wii?
Yeah.
The Wii aisle at Walmart was filled with just plastics.
A guy I know at LucasArts, when they were a thing, was talking about the Wii and what they were being promised would happen, and then when Wii Plus came out, they didn't know anything about it. They were fucking livid, and that's when they like just said fuck them. At that point, Nintendo, they're like fuck them. It was over.
Yeah.
And Santa says like the show though, so make sure you like the show. Be a channel member if you can be a channel member. It's the best way to support the show, and also of our friends like Bespin Bulletin. Me and Bespin, we might strike. We might do a writer strike on you guys. We can do it. And then in like about 3 months, some fakers will show up. People will be like, "We eating good tonight," because they're just saying whatever that they want to hear. And then like 8 months will go by, and then you'll just see all of it wasn't true, and you should have supported Bespin Bulletin and Making Star Wars. And me and Bespin will be out. We'll probably be in, what will we cover instead? We'll probably be doing like making Transformers.
They're making plenty of Jason, do you know how many Transformers
movies? Bumblebee Bulletin? That sounds better, actually.
They've managed to put out more Transformers films than Star Wars films. Now, granted, they mostly suck, but then again, most of our audience feels the Star Wars films suck, whether they do or not.
Well,
so
and most of our audience sucks,
what's the difference?
so it's ironic. No, I'm kidding. I love
so,
you guys.
like, what's the difference? Jason, what is the difference? May I ponder you a philosophical question for a second?
Well, they filmed they filmed the Transformers movie with no scripts. Philosophically,
I wasn't doing the Lucas voice. I was just trying to sound smart, and it came off as George Lucas.
It came off as smarmy Lucas.
Smarmy Lucas. Yeah. No, the question I have, Jason, is if your fear of making a bad film, right, keeps you from making any films, but no matter what you make, most people hate your films anyway, but they'll pay to see them, then what is the fear? You see what I'm saying? You're an educated person.
Well, no, I think at the end, if we want to look at it from more of a legacy standpoint, Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, Rogue One, those are going to be remembered as, wow, good films, fun films, things that are worth, showing to your children, your grandchildren, whatever. Those are movies that like will fall into that category. And so I think the idea is to, not crash the brand. not to do. And you're right, but also those guys that Soilo guys and all that shit when the Solo movie was coming out and stuff, those people, they just want this to fail anyways. They don't like it in the first place. So all of the people who hate it anyways are kind of irrelevant because I don't think they're long-time consumers. I think they're short-time.
Right. But I'm just talking about the fear within a corporation, right? Like like a culture fear within a. So here's my.
I don't think it's like I think Disney would fucking pump away at these things and just make baby after Star Wars baby if they would. I think it's Kathleen Kennedy, and that's where the quality control stop is, where she's like, that's not realistic. This movie is not gonna jail. This movie's not gonna happen. I think that's what happens.
Right. Because this is something I appreciate about Marvel to an extent, right?
Right.
Here, I'll give you an example. I know, because you're all, Rob mentioned Marvel.
No. I like
ever
Marvel.
Since The Dark Knight came out, like, before The Dark Knight came out, we all just wanted a Batman movie that was at least dark and not Batman and Robin, right? We can all agree that was not the way to go. But after The Dark Knight, that fucking Batman movie needed to be the best movie ever made. It needed to win all the Oscars. You know what I mean? It needed AAA talent. If it was not firing on every cylinder, it was a complete failure of a fucking blah 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 blah. And since then, like, they've been trying to, like, I feel like when it comes to Batman, they've been trying to recapture that mentality versus whatever mentality Chris Nolan had going into Batman Begins. Was, I just want to make a solid fucking Batman film that maybe doesn't lean on what we did before, or like Batman '89. We just want to make a blockbuster Batman film. You know, like, it's just. I just feel like,
but look at what they do though. Like, if you look at the Tony Gilroy Star Wars, right? Look at Rogue One and look at the 12-ish, 8 hours of Andor, whatever the hell it is. Like that right there was more of that Nolan perspective of we just want to make a really good film or a really good story, really good series or whatever. But then you also have
and they meant it.
Yeah. And they did it. And then, but on the other hand, you have like the I just want to see a lightsaber guys and girls, and you gotta you have to appease them too. So it's a really big market. I think you don't want to leave everybody behind. I think that in a way they're trying to hit all of these patches of fans.
And for the record, Jason, Luke's and Vader's, those sabers that were built in the 70s, right? Those sabers, they got screws in them.
Oh yeah,
they got little screws in them, man.
Because they're fucking camera parts. That's how fucking real world they are.
Yeah, Graflex.
Graflex.
I know that one. I know because I went on a Graflex hunt when I was in Germany back in the early aughts, and
you can't find them anymore. I hear.
You can find them in 2000. The Germans were laughing at me. Oh, un Star Wars, ha 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 ha. I was like, all right, you fucking asshole. But that was one of my biggest complaints about the Phantom Menace. Even when I was the biggest defender of it, was that the lightsabers looked like they were molded. They didn't look like they were built from anything. Like, they all looks like one piece. To that end, I was like, well, they may as well just been carved out of fucking wood. You know what I mean? Then it would have been a more elegant weapon. It's just the molded plastic. And it's not just the lightsabers. It's, how I feel about the industrial design of the Phantom Menace. Everything looks like it came out of a Disney store from,
Yeah, well, it's supposed to be an Art Deco time. And that's more of what they were going for. Is
Dana's apartment complex. Dana's apartment complex was Art Deco, Jason. All right, the Phantom Menace was.
No,
it's more like mall deco. It's mall deco.
I don't know.
Right? Where they did it on the cheap prefab for the WB store. Yeah.
Listen, just call Doug Chang a fucking bitch while you're at it. Just call him a fucking bitch, dude.
Are you crazy?
That's what you're saying. You're calling Doug Chang a bitch right now.
That man is still in better shape than me, dude. Like, have you seen him? The only person in better shape than Doug Chang is Danny Elfman. Have you seen that guy? He's like Carrot Top level. Fucking ripped,
that's
dude.
80s. Worked out in the 80s on cocaine, strong. Still,
He did not look like that in the 80s. I saw him once, like he was Tower Record or some shit.
Yeah, I remember him doing the like tank tops with this little cocaine muscles going on back then. But
was it the cut the halfway cut, the 80s?
yeah,
Where it cuts up the uncle. What was that uncle from
like
Napoleon Dynamite? Right, he had that.
Uncle Rico.
Uncle Rico, yeah.
Uncle Rico, yeah.
But
Jedi Mike
I just want to wrap that up, Jason. If sorry.
No, go ahead.
Before we get into that, to reiterate, the whole point of that ramble was like, if everyone, if people are just gonna bitch anyway, just fucking make the cool thing and let them bitch about the cool thing, then fucking bitch about a half-measured effort. You know what I mean?
That's right there is where I think they have a problem with listening. Is I think at times Lucasfilm doesn't know how to listen because so much of the audience are complete shitheads. And then they start to tune it all out. And then who they don't tune out are the people who weren't being shitheads about the last shithead thing. But those people also usually will just tell you that everything you do is great. That Star Wars Rebels is maybe some of the best Star Wars that's ever come along and stuff like that. And it's like, and and it's no, and you know what?
I'm drinking coffee, Jason.
And for a cartoon, the stories are really good. I mean, but at the same time, does Ezra Bridger talking to himself like he's fucking Aladdin because the audience is apparently perceived to be too stupid to comprehend what's going on visually, or because they're too cheap to visually have what he is thinking and doing shown on screen, so it's telling instead of showing, like that kind of stuff? No, they're not telling them that. They're just telling them, oh my god, it's so good. And then these other people are like, I don't see that in Alabama like this. Alabama ain't like this. Star Wars ain't like Alabama, therefore. And it's just like fucking two polar opposites of insanity, like just completely fucking bonkers on from all angles. And so, anyways, I don't think they've ever figured out how to listen, though. I think that's like the actual issue.
There has to be some fucking PR company that knows how to wrangle this, right? I mean, can we think of what company has? I mean, Nintendo's no, they're in Japan, so they just don't give a shit.
So
has somebody figured this out?
Lucasfilm PR itself that it came with to Disney.
Marvel PR, how about that?
It's fucking nuts. No, I mean they're all fucking nuts, fakes. Like I said, the one of the ladies in that little PR regime canceled my interviews because Eric Geller from theforce.net had his fucking temper tantrum to her about me getting access. Fucking bitch. But then this lady goes, what are you doing? I'm like at the bar fucking having a drink in the hotel. I'm like, oh, they canceled all my interviews. Just, oh my gosh, she gives me a hug. And then the lady from Disney calls me and later on and tells me, yeah, she canceled it because of Eric Geller. And it's like I was just like, oh, F these people, man. I'm going my own way.
His last name is Geller?
Who,
like Ross
Eric?
Geller from Friends?
I don't know.
Maybe that's why you don't like Friends so much. Maybe that's why.
I'm gonna add that to another reason why Friends fucking sucks, actually, dude.
I'll hold this over Friends. They put the slave bikini thing on the map. You know what I mean?
Fucking, it was no, Return of the Jedi
It was forgotten. It was
and,
forgotten.
Yeah, you know what it did? It brought a bunch of basic bitches to Star Wars that I didn't need.
No, some of those are my friends. You stop that, Jason. You stop.
Yeah, we don't need them here.
And they're nothing basic about them.
Jedi. So anyways, though, so then the PR people who tend to take over for Star Wars, sort of like in the past, it's changed a little bit now. But for most of the films that we're talking about, we're like, oh, okay, let the grown-ups handle this now. But they were all Marvel people, and they know how to market movies with characters' first name as the title only, mostly. And they're the people that came up with a Star Wars story, and then so that way they can make everything called Solo, Boba Fett.
Okay, we all know they didn't have the. I'm just trying to figure out. Somebody figured out. Maybe no companies figured out how to deal with this. I'm just wondering. You know me, I'm the first to criticize Lucasfilm, but like maybe maybe just none of them have figured out how to do it,
Yeah.
And that's where I think maybe they would if they actually engaged, like if they had a Star Wars channel where they were engaged with this shit. They could actually figure out actively a way versus this mentality of duck and cover,
The fucking problem though is that they mostly only know how to play favorites. They only know how to go with this one rando thing that they like or whatever it happens to be. And as opposed to being like, oh, you know what? Fucking Christian Harloff has a huge audience. We should do a ton of shit with that guy. Like they're not very
He's
pragmatic.
good at interviews though, right? You know what I mean? He's got that mentality.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. But my point is Christian Harloff being good, being bad, or being lame or rad, or your favorite or your least favorite. The fucking point is taking the message to the consumer. And that's not what they're about. They're about, it's kind of funny because they don't like leaks because they think it's all about clout, yet they behave completely on clout with certain creators
maybe they make Klaus. Like they got
maybe
a guy over there named Klaus, and they meant him. I mean, look, we're watching Lucasfilm PR fuck up right now with Indiana Jones. I mean, it's not like I'm looking at the past or predicting in the future. Like you couldn't, Jason. I went to the theater, right?
Yeah,
and I mask up. I saw Spider-Verse, right? Like Thursday.
Yeah,
I go to the theater 9:50 showing, packed. Jason, I told you that fucking film. They were under predicting the demand for that movie.
Oh right? No! Boise,
Idaho's packed at 9:50 on a Thursday.
Every movie is under predicted right now, though. That isn't. That
but there wasn't even. But this is a big theater chain up here, right?
Yeah,
they got everything in there. No Indiana Jones poster, no Indiana Jones trailers, nothing. And there was plenty of Disney trailers. They fucking trailer for Little Mermaid. I'm like, that shit's playing right next door.
Right.
Why is there a trailer for this? This is weird, man. Like, what is going on, dude? Like,
I'm trying to get our images from what do you call it? There was a bunch of pictures that came out.
Okay.
From Empire and stuff like that for Ahsoka. We're gonna look at those in just a minute.
But I didn't ask people because I don't talk to people, but I do ask the people working there because they're in the know, right? The employees. I'm like, hey man, you looking forward to Indiana Jones? And they're like, what?
Okay, no.
I was like,
no.
What? Like,
so
older dudes too. I asked the young and the old. I didn't know.
Well, they aren't fucking up Indiana Jones.
Okay.
They have. The misstep that the biggest misstep they ever had was initially early on not saying what the movie was about or what the grounded heart of the film is, the death of Mutt, for instance, something like that. You know what I mean? They needed to give one of those and they didn't. So the early stuff, it didn't mean anything. But out here, man, when I went to pick up the kids before the show right now, and I actually got grabbed a picture or two, and there's huge billboards along the freeway. My theater, like I said,
LA,
the whole
LA.
I mean, no, but this isn't. I mean, I'm not in LA though. I am in LA, but I'm not in LA. Like when you go into LA, yeah, there's probably gonna be an Indiana Jones on the side of a building and shit, right? No matter what the movie was, it probably that thing would happen. But what I'm saying is
the Figueroa at Staples Center.
Yeah, what I'm saying is like this stuff right here, right now, Indiana Jones is everywhere and everything else isn't. I'm not seeing the Transformers stuff barely anywhere.
Everything all at once isn't playing anymore?
Nope. But I'm saying like, so on Indiana Jones, at some point they figured it out and they either put more money into the campaign or whatever, but they are paying to get awareness of it out. And then on another side note, in terms of like the pre-sale tickets for Flash, pre-sale tickets for Spider-Verse, all that shit, none of that shit is moving early. No, none of it's moving until like 3 days before.
None of it is. Yeah. I told you I don't put any stock into pre-sale tickets.
Right. Like, but that's also that's all you have to right now say Indiana Jones is a failure. It might fail. I don't know, what I'm saying is they have now. I've seen it at least in Southern California. They're paying for their Indiana Jones awareness. No one's gonna not know it came out unless they are fucking blind. Is my point. And then in terms of like the trailers and stuff like that, that stuff is it's okay. But
is that 4th of July weekend it's playing, or is it the 29th?
It's June 29th was when the first shows.
29th, right?
It comes out like June 30th, but there's like a 3 p.m. and a 7 p.m. on June 29th. And like that's what I'm going to. And then and like I got Flash tickets, and then they put up Flash tickets for like Monday. I was like, fucking hell, you guys. Like I already bought the Flash tickets. And then that one did sell out. The Monday for Flash did around me sold out. But if you guys might have one around you where you could see it Monday early, or if you're going by yourself, like you might be able to get like one ticket, and see it. So like they're doing screenings on Monday. I think it's Monday. Anyways, but yes, but point being, everybody has been, all of the box office like analysts more or less have lowballed everything. Not really been that right about what's going on now, because everything's changed. So, and I guess you could have a little bit of empathy for the studios on that front, because with everything having changed, things that they thought were a given aren't. And then some shit's just like, Spider-Verse didn't do this promotion. Look at what it's doing. It's weird, right? It's
yeah. I think it's, for me at this point, it's in the same category as political polling. Like whatever they were using before to gauge that is irrelevant in whatever timeline we're living now.
Yeah.
It's just not reflective. I've not seen a poll accurate since before 2016, 2017, like I've just not seen that, whether it's movies or politics or anything. So
yeah, well the problem is people, demographics.
Are you interested in Avatar? Yeah, but if you polled it, you're interested in Avatar, it doesn't, you know what I mean? Like we know where that went, right? So, but I'm just telling you, like, I'm using my Gitchy, right? Because that's what I use. I look, I observe, and then I guess, and I gotta tell you, man, I think the film, if it's good, will do well. Like it could do 500-700 million. You know what I mean? Like.
It
could do 800, but
it needs to do 8 to break even.
Yeah, that's the question.
And I don't know if they upped the marketing like in an insane way, or if the marketing has always been where it's been, and this has always been the plan. That's one thing that we don't know for certain. And so it might even be more. I don't. But that's a might. I don't know.
I had this conversation with someone months ago where I said, the Marvel movies need to get back to really coordinating and designing their fight sequences to be extremely memorable. And Doctor Strange being like, that's my biggest complaint about the movie, is like, you guys really need to, like, if you see the way the fights were done in What If with the Doctor Strange shift, and you see in the movie, the cartoon's way better. So you gotta go, like, I went on the hot mic, right? I gave him some money. It was like, asked about the fight.
Give me money. I'll tell you whatever you want to hear.
I give you money every fucking month. So
I know, but I want hot mic money.
You got to ask Spreezy for hot mic money, man. That dude dropped some real coins.
Breaking news. Fuck you, Bespin Bulletin, for trying to make me laugh during the show. Sorry.
So anyway, but I asked him about it, and Jeff Snyder felt that the fights were never a big part of Marvel, but I'm like, no, they really were. It's ever since the elevator fight. It's a big deal, and I'm telling you,
the elevator fight's the only reason I saw the second movie.
You need to understand the group of kids that have aged. They're growing up. The Marvel people, they're growing up with anime. They're growing up with My Hero and Dragon Ball Z. That shit's Full Metal Alchemist. They're growing up with Kill La Kill. They're growing up with all sorts of fucking Attack on Titan. And so, like, Spider-Verse to me is the first thing I've seen that represents the visual fidelity of shit they've been getting in other media, from games, in terms of the action and stuff. Like, it's super dynamic. You know, it's not like that Michael Bay, we threw a lot of action on the screen, just blue shit. That's not it. It's not what I'm talking about. There's a lot of these kids, man, they've grown up with animation, whether they realize it or not. If your extent of fucking fighting it comes from video games, that's animation. Someone animated that. So I feel like to capture that audience, you need to have at least 1 or 2 sick ass fucking fights in your movie. It's a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With otherwise you need to go full drama like the Batman, right? Or to an extent Logan.
I mean, it's not everything to me, but the Phantom Menace fight scene in 1999 saved that movie for some people.
It's the reason why it's still the best prequel movie to me.
You know what I mean? And you can't discount that. You know what I mean? Yeah. It doesn't make a movie, but it certainly gives it some like mojo, without a doubt. You can't.
I don't see any difference between a well executed fight sequence and the pod race. You need a big hook on these things. They're genre-based films at a budget. You need a big thing to get people to rally around that point,
I saw that little boy in that pod racer going 600 miles an hour. You tell me that wasn't a fight, Rob. You tell me that wasn't a fight scene.
That's why I can't stand Revenge of the Sith when the spaceships move so slow. They move slow.
What?
They're
dude?
Slow.
It's
they just
relative,
slowly move through the battle, taking their
Mach 3,
they move. They move like Janice from the Muppets, where she just tucks.
Dude,
go and do the battle,
dude. It's like a fucking ballet dance, bro.
Needs to be like Animal, not like Janice. Dog. Animal, like you got to figure it out, Jason.
But anyway, Jedi Mike, I know you're probably joking. I don't know if that's a thing or a joke, but I would say it would not be relevant that the Spider-Verse could ever do more than anything like that, because it's where it's released in the summer. Even if it has good legs, those legs will get kind of kneecapped by the Flash and Indiana Jones and all of the stuff that keeps coming out. Whereas classically, when the Avatar movies come out, there's not really anything to come and do that to it.
And we have to see how well the movie does internationally.
You see what fucking Tom Cruise is trying to do? The IMAX shit and everything. Fuck him.
You know what?
I'm not going to see his fucking movie now. Fuck him. Yeah,
Jason, you've never seen any of the Mission Impossible
I'm not.
movies.
I was going to see it.
I was going to find an excuse. No, I think he's right.
No, I was going to see it because of you. Because you're always
putting Oppenheimer.
It's impossible.
I'm not watching a depressing ass nuclear weapons movie in the middle of summer. It's a fucking October release.
What?
Wait,
you have months where you'll watch.
It's not Dunkirk where you at least get a fucking battle. It's guys in the desert thinking about whether they're gonna blow something up or not. Like sorry.
Well,
I don't get it.
Yeah, the guys on the last podcast on the left are doing the history of the bomb. And all of the players and shit, and like they had a pretty hilarious thing, just laughing about Matt Damon playing that military guy that he's playing. They're like, what the fuck are they thinking with Matt Damon in that role? But at the same time, I'm gonna see that movie. I know it's gonna be good, and I don't really care if it's not October. I'll be okay with that.
In case in point, dude, Nolan's been on a downhill trajectory for a while. I mean, his movies get more inaudible. the mumble thing.
So if we purposely get competitive and then cut off the movie's chance, then that just becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, though.
I think, given that Tom Cruise helped save the movie industry last summer, you know what though?
Mission Impossible fucking 29, just like Indiana Jones fucking 27, is not Top Gun fucking 2 that I've been waiting for since I was 7 years old. It's not the same thing.
But these films should not be
and acting like it.
Another.
No,
but they shouldn't
I'm
be cannibalizing.
I'm saying
in the same way that I think that fucking Jedi Survivor should not be coming out 2 weeks before The Legend of Zelda. That's total bullshit. Doesn't help fucking that game at all. Doesn't help that game at all. No one remembered it.
Yeah, but
gone. No one's talking about it.
My whole thing is when you're a competitive cunt like that, fuck you. It's fucked up when anybody does it. It's fucked up when Star Wars does it. It's fucked up when Quentin Tarantino does it.
Jason says when you're a competitive cunt, fuck you, and then he rails about the Force.net for an hour in the front of the show.
Are you confused? Are you confused that me and the Force.net do the same thing? Because Force.net hasn't been a Making Star Wars country since 1999.
Yeah, 97, Jason.
I'm
97.
No. In 99, I mean, and then they all jumped ship to IGN for Attack of the Clones and sold out, and then
Imagine Games Network. Yes.
But Bestman Bulletin tells me to tell, but anyways, yeah, being competitive like that in art is fucking a shithead move. I get it's a business at the same time, but why don't you just move your fucking movie to August when you have no competition? You'll do the same Tom Cruise, you fucking cunt. Rob mentioned what Spider-Verse does internationally. It made 80 million internationally and 120 stateside, similar to Little Mermaid. Depends on the legs, but it's looking more like 500 million to 650 million for Spider-Verse, for what it's worth.
Yeah, and typically, look, there's no one way to get to $1 billion. If there was, everyone would be doing it, you know?
Yeah.
So typically, you do see overseas doing double domestically to hit like 1.5, 1.3 around there. So if it's doing even, it could be more like 800, 900. It could just crawl up there. You know, that's like, more like Marvel movie territory. But guys, look, I know Macquarie has said it himself that these studios don't give a shit if you make 700 million. They don't care if you make $1 billion. But let's be honest, folks. Like, fucking, if these films do $700 million and they got merch on the back end, they probably made 3 or 4 billion. You know, like,
well,
it's ridiculous.
They're going to have to start to wake up and realize that just being $1 billion, which is a very arbitrary number to our stupid brains,
right?
That's just language, and they're gonna have to start looking at it for like what it really is.
But what did it do in crypto?
Who knows?
$3.
Probably like a lot. It's probably like 14 trillion Dogecoins, I guess, or something like that. But Doja Cat, whatever the fuck, I don't know who it was, whatever. But
got me.
The other thing was, there was one more thing I was going to say, but anyways, yeah. So the Spider-Verse movie though, I think is like you say, I think they're doing it right. I think that movie was fucking super good. The marketing didn't seem insane. It was better than it was like on the previous ones. And there's like a Burger King promotion or something, and you'll see some billboards. But it was very modest, I'd say. It seems like that, anyways, out here compared to Indiana Jones. And so I'm
but like, they do have a Burger King promotion, right? It's just as well as Taco Bell needs to get back that Star Wars stuff. I mean, it's fun watching people walk around with stupid spider crowns and shit. You know, as dumb as that stuff is, I do find it charming.
I broke my my diet to share a Spider-Verse sundae with Penny. It was okay, but I enjoyed it.
I just hope, man, like, if the Spider-Verse does well, that the next time they make a Spider-Man game, you know, on the PS5 or whatever, they'll make a Spider-Verse game, because I love that. I'd like to see some of that art style translated into 3D more than realistic New York City, you know?
Well, like I was telling you, man, for me, Spider-Man's not sacred. I like Spider-Man. Spider-Man's fun. It's not sacred to me. And so there's like, you know, there's not really a way to offend me other than just bore me. But I think that the Spider-Verse, those two movies together, for me, are better than anything Spider-Man's ever done. For me, that would be my Spider-Man, and I enjoy it. So I just hope the third one doesn't like all of a sudden drop the ball like the Nolan Batman movie. Kind of killed that little thing for me. You know, that third Batman Nolan movie.
They made these at the same time, so it's the same people. Then the Nolan movie was made. I mean, it was supposed to have Joker, and it was supposed to be a different story. And then what I don't understand, man, is at some point, and I would love to talk to fucking the other Nolan, John Nolan, who wrote the script, basically, you know.
Norman Nolan.
What point do you say, hey man, we're making this this first Batman movie one to make a little Blade Runner-y. That's why we got Rutger Hauer in there. We got the fucking cars that look like the Sky Cars and shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Second movie, we're going with Heat. The third movie, you go with the Tale of Two Fucking Cities. Like, what are you thinking, dude? Like, I would have been like, I would have just smacked him. Poosh, you know what I mean? Like with the, like, what are you doing?
That's what happens when you look in the mirror and you're like, I'm the next Ernest Hemingway. I am Shakespeare. I am like my generation's. You know, you have to be full of shit at that point.
Personally, I've caught a lot of Akira references in that film, right?
Okay.
Beyond the gun, the bike, but like even where they store the little weapon, there's the same elevator when they go down to it. The way they go to the Akira like facility, there's a lot of it, and plus nuclear weapon. There may have been a case to say, hey, if we had done a 3 and 4 modeled after Akira with Batman, there
Right.
might have been something there for you, you know. But Tale
Right.
of Two Cities, like when they wheel out the giant judge shit, I'm like, this fucking shit, you know. Like we're back in the fucking Dickens. Like I don't want.
Yeah.
It's so weird, dude.
No, it's fucking
It's
stupid.
weird.
Sam says, Jason, I think you're into UAPs. Any thoughts on the soon to be released interview with whistleblower claiming US has for many years had vehicle materials from non-human origins? So I read the article on that came out today, and from the debrief, I think. And are you okay, Penny? You okay? Not feeling well? Okay. Can you close the door for Daddy, please? Pretty soon. Yeah, Penny's not feeling good today, so I'm gonna have to get to the article here pretty quick. But anyways, the UAP thing that came out today is a guy saying that he's not seen any UFOs, he hasn't touched any UFOs, he's never been in the presence of one, but he's seen the documents. And there's a couple of just like weird things about that makes it not where I'm like, oh boy, here it is, because the number one is nobody knows when that be classified, or could you not classify something that doesn't exist because it's like a program? Is it going to prove that those programs exist? Well, yeah, but do we believe that they have programs that are about reverse engineering technology from outside the US or Earth? Of course they would. Like we know those exist when they were capturing those Chinese drones that were over the United States of America a couple of months ago. And so anyways, like, yeah, it's definitely like interesting. All of the grifters are going to grift on it, but I'm still hoping, I'm hoping that ends up being something fascinating. But also it's like Indiana Jones and Last Crusade, it's like X never marks the spot. That's X marking the spot. And then, it's usually like when the ground falls out from underneath you right there, that's when this is how this usually goes. So until somebody actually comes out and like shows something, it's, and then the most rational thing I think I've heard is that like a couple of scientists who are studying it are like, we don't think this is UFOs, but we do think that the United States has cracked anti-gravity and has been hiding it for some reason. Like that's, I think, the most realistic take on it at the moment, but who knows? I mean, I'm going to follow it. And like when, when all of the dust sort of settles on what's happening today, and if more comes out, me and Rob will do like a UFO show if you guys are interested, and we'll like, sift through it or whatever. So, but
like how Jason just signs me up for more shows.
Yeah. I'm just going to tell you it's an Avatar show. I mean, it's like,
oh shit, I'll be there. What time?
Avatar will make 2.5 billion. Is that realistic, Rob?
You gonna wear a tail this time? You gonna wear a tail this time? Who fuck cares how much an Avatar movie?
I'm asking you if it's realistic.
Huh?
No, you know what? Avatar is crazy though, Rob, because it has no culture around it.
Here's the world we live in, and the world we live in now is different than the one that Lucas was making the original trilogy in, right? And we can all agree, back in the 80s, 70s, and 80s, sequels made less than the first movie. That's how it typically
70%. It used to be 70% return.
Right. But after, post Marvel, now they make more, right? If people love them, the next one can make look at the John Wick movies, right? Boop, 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 right? They just go and go. So is it possible? Sure, it's possible. I could see, yeah, sure, but like, I mean, I just don't know, dude. I mean, what happens if like 3 weeks before Avatar 3 comes out, there's a fucking war in half of Eastern Europe? You know what I mean? Then like, who the fuck knows?
Well, I mean, yeah, but let's assume the current climate.
Or what if ticket prices are so high, people just only go once? Like that's a realistic problem, Like look at now.
That's my realistic problem for like right now is when I take myself and the kids to the theater, I'm in about $65 for the tickets. And then when you add the fact that they're going to want stuff, if we get the concessions there, then it gets closer to like, $80-$90. And it's and so I've already gone like to Spider-Verse. I did another one. What else did I see? I saw something else. Spider-Verse, that one I pre-ordered for the Flash and that, and it's like I fucking feel like I spent $400 on movies that I haven't, and half of them I haven't seen them yet. Like that's what it feels like. And so when it's something else, you know what I mean? That's where like Oppenheimer and stuff like that, where I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to go see Oppenheimer. I want to see it, but I'm probably going to.
Man, dude. Look, guys, Oppenheimer feels to me like Chris Nolan wanted to make a There Will Be Blood, but he just he tried to do it through a summer blockbuster lens. You know, like.
But that's the whole thing, though. Is it? I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah. But I'm just telling you what I've watched every preview. I've sat through it, and I'm like, I'm not paying fucking the $30. It's $30 fucking to go see an IMAX movie, man. Even here, you know,
in my opinion, it's not going to be a summer film. They're selling it as if it is because they want to release it in the summer and they want it to make summer film money because it costs summer film money. And but is it probably going to be? You know, I don't know though. I mean, like that's like the other thing. Is it just going to like glorify Oppenheimer? Is it real? You know what I mean? Like. It's because it's a complicated.
I felt like Oppenheimer, they should have left it at the you know as a quote before Godzilla, you know, like that's you know, like I don't know, man.
Look, that's true.
I'm not the audience for this one.
Pathetic and out of touch. Already seen too many people say day one purchase. Enjoy your Star Wars data big entries floating over Mando 3. But Azure will pay for Transformers. But yeah, and that's where I think like this summer is weird too, is because I think like I could be wrong, but I think the people of my age, me and Rob's age, we know Transformers is not going to be good to us because it never has been, and we're not going to see it. And then we're going to see Indiana Jones because we have to. And then you guys are going to see Transformers because you've liked it the whole time. And then Indiana Jones is the one where you're just like, I don't know. I mean, I know, I know as a true will see Indiana Jones, but I'm talking like demographics.
Oh no, Jason, I bought my ticket for Transformers on Thursday at 5:30, 3D. Here's the deal. You did? I don't think it's going to be great. Here's the ding. I didn't.
You have an Indiana Jones ticket?
No, I have Transformers.
And you bought a Transformers ticket? You fucking traitor!
I buy from the theater directly, not from Fandango.
You've not only betrayed your country, you have betrayed your generation.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know what? I would take my parents, my country, my generation. Take a number. You know, like to quote Jack Burton. Eventually, I rub everyone the wrong way, Jason. You know. But when it comes to Transformers. Here's the thing, man. I fucking hate these movies at this point, but
yeah,
I have this problem where like I sit here drawing, and there's an 8-year-old Rob in me who goes, "There was a live action Transformers movie and you didn't go see it." You know what I mean? I can't just. I feel like if I get to the fucking other side when I get to the other side one day, man, will there be a little version of me just judging the movies I didn't go see because he would have loved to have seen.
Gonna tell you something, Rob. I have a time machine, and I just went back and I watched you watching your bootlegged pay-per-viewed copy of Temple of Doom, and I just told you didn't pre-order tickets to Indiana Jones 5, and you said, "Did I grow up to be a bitch?" And I said,
"I'll tell you what got me to get the ticket, right? I don't care about the fucking. I only like Dinobots. I don't give a shit about Beast Wars and shit.
Yeah,
Galvatron. Saw Galvatron. Now I gotta go see it.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta see if they do this one right or fuck it up. Got to, you know." They got me with the Galvatron. They got me with the little member bots.
Right.
Member bots.
Yeah, it's Kathleen Kennedy's birthday, according to Twitter and Star Wars Meg. And yeah, good job, Kathleen Kennedy. How did you make Indiana Jones cost that much? Happy birthday to you.
$300 million?
It's more than that. 300 million and change. That's why I was saying it has to make 800 million to even be in the realm of like breaking even. And I don't know how I don't have an answer to how we got here. I was working under the theory that Indiana Jones filmed the opening in the castle with old Indy not being de-aged at one point, and then they decided to go redo it. And that's why it's longer. And I think that's what may have happened, and that may have been what made that budget
It's not
turn
$100
into
million. You know, it doesn't add $100
if
million.
you go to refilm an entire 30 minutes of a movie, and you know, then you also have like Harrison Ford getting injured and stuff. I think it's possible. I don't know though. I don't know. I can't make sense of it.
You want me to start a rumor? Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a. I'm not gonna say theory because then that promotes Santa's friends. We don't do that here. But do you? Because Ingruber's in the film, right? Do you think it's possible they shot that originally with Ingruber and then decided to go deepfake?
No, that would have leaked the fuck out everywhere. If Ingruber was playing Indiana Jones, it would have been, because Ingruber being in the film was something that I knew the whole time, and I was just like, yeah, so that was around, so yeah, I don't think so, but you know, he would have done a good job probably. Well, and it would have been an interesting take anyways. As Drew said, today I saw Andor sucks because it's communism and Gilroy is a Hollywood shill destroying Lucas Star Wars. Yeah, there was an article that came out where Gilroy has said that George Lucas called him to congratulate him on Rogue One because he loved it, and he said it was like getting a call from the president. So yeah, I don't think that they realize that George Lucas is pretty much a communist and a hypocrite. He's the best capitalist communist we've ever had. You know, love George Lucas. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I mean, if you're gonna go that route, that's a slippery slope. You got to put some blinders on to have that logic. You got to
think about it though. You know, he's got conservative parents, and when I say conservative, they went through World War II and the Depression. They're conservative.
And let's also be real. George Lucas tries to do this like I'm like a middle class person. He was fucking rich. He was a rich kid.
Right. So they're up. Yeah, he was at Disneyland opening week or whatever. So
yeah,
like,
fucking rich kid, dude.
So, you know, he's got that, but then he goes through the '60s and UCSD or USD, right? USC. Forget all these fucking acronyms.
He went to USC.
UCSD is in San Diego. Yeah, USC. So, you know, I figure like that's got to be like that battle internally, right? He's got to have that constant. He's having a Lucas Civil War all the time, right up in that little noggin.
Yeah. All right. So here's the article du jour. Star Wars Acolyte has wrapped. Enters post-production amidst the strike. If you've been following Star Wars or Hollywood for the last few months, you know that everything in the industry is in disarray. God, I got a fucking typo. Are you kidding me? While the David Zaslavs and the Bob Igers of the industry look for bonuses the size of the GDP of small nations, the people who create the content, the people who create the content they live like kings off of are facing extinction. Star Wars Andor's second season lost Tony Gilroy when Abdullah Saeed called the conflict of interest out to the Writers Guild of America. Gilroy agreed it was a conflict and stepped away from Andor 2. To the best of my knowledge, Andor 2 is still filming right now. Gilroy is a rock star in the industry and for Star Wars itself, delivering on 14 hours of quality Star Wars content with the human story at its core. Anyone in charge at Disney looking for a bonus while this happened has some big balls. We can only hope the most vital moments from the second season of Andor 2 were already in the can while Gilroy was still revising the project. Sources say the scripts were done. Sources say the scripts were done, but revisions and the writing process is usually refined until the last moment, as Gilroy's a perfectionist. The scripts are likely pretty good. Will it matter? You know, that's the fucking question. So you know what I mean? Like he would be tinkering with those scripts until the last minute, no matter what. And at what point does it not matter to us anymore? At what point, when you hear a song, does one extra, pass on compression matter to you? I don't know. Nobody does. So it's a weird one. The only other Star Wars project in active production is Star Wars Acolyte. My sources have confirmed to me that the Leslie Headland prequel to the prequels series has wrapped production and escaped the watchful eye of Abdullah Saeed. And then I say, update, Bespin Bulletin has also heard many of these same details and can verify this Acolyte report. And there's a link there. Acolyte has been winding down for a while now. For a time, it looked like maybe it was going to stop, but it was just a slow turn to the finish line for them. Showrunner Leslie Headland commented at Star Wars Celebration the show would be finished by now, and it is, with most of the main cast being done around a month ago, most of the cast having moved on to ADR recording elsewhere. And the ADR recording is not all being done at the same place, by the way. I meant to include that as kind of touching on it there. Anyways, more on that later. The talk about Skeleton Crews, not the Disney Plus series, but the small filming crew version, has me ponder if some secret was filmed for the back end of the show. If there was ever a place to do something like that, it makes sense it would happen that way. At that time, Skeleton Crews did exist in the rear of the production schedule. That said, I said in the rear of the production schedule. That said,
I heard that.
there isn't much to hide from a series taking place decades before Jar Jar Binks. You know, if Darth Vader doesn't show up, like, it's kind of like, is there anything to hide really? Would anybody care yet? So today I bring good news amidst a lot of industry turmoil. Andor is still trucking on like he has been since he was 6 years old. It is debatable what the absence of Tony Gilroy will mean for the second and final season, but great news is Star Wars Acolyte is done, in the can, and fully in post-production, having dodged the wrath of the strike. There might be a light at the end of the tunnel. The Directors Guild of America has reached a tentative deal with the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers. Raises in language like AI is not a person accepted. The AI issue was an easy one, as you cannot copyright AI created content, which means it cannot be truly owned. So the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers aren't throwing a big bone there if you want to be real about it. The DGA was supposed to be standing in solidarity with the WGA, as they want most of the same things. This does seem to open the door for the WGA, though. However, it does not solve the issue of the mini writers' room, and that is likely to be the last battle before the strike ends. Star Wars The Mandalorian 4 was supposed to begin filming this fall. That is likely not going to happen until the winter now, if the strike ends soon. The truth is, no one knows what is going to happen until more progress is made, so beware the charlatans. Hopefully, we are at the end of the beginning at least. And I say the clock is counting down. I was told some time ago that hell or high water, Lucasfilm was putting a Star Wars film out by late 2025. That was a Disney directive to Lucasfilm. This strike is delaying crucial months of writing and development on that Rey standalone Star Wars picture. This may be Lucasfilm's excuse to not release in 2025 the longer this continues. And let's be real, they want that excuse. It is looking more and more like Damon Lindelof was cut from the production of the Rey film due to a new book called Burn It Down that alleges some pretty serious stuff about the production of Lost. So that film is likely being built on the bones of the Lindelof film, but we just don't know to what extent yet. It sounds like Stephen Knight was brought on before Lindelof even turned in his script. I assume it is because of Burn It Down, which also has around 40 pages on Lucasfilm as well. That's a lot. Yeah, I bought the book, so we're going to cover it next week, at the end of the week.
Oh, good.
That likely kicked the Rey film before it was ever even able to stand. Sources would only confirm a lot of anxiety about the book, however. So I was trying to get is this why that happened? Can you confirm it? I don't think anybody knows. I don't think that was an official reason why it happened, but it certainly seems like it was. While we have good news about our Disney Plus shows, Mando 4 is slipping in the back to tank, which makes sense because it looks like Boba Fett is going to return next season, as the armor being made was indeed for Boba in Mando 4, but it cannot begin filming. The next Star Wars film cannot progress in a meaningful way at the moment. Hopefully, the executives get their heads out of their asses so we can get on having fun and overpaying for their products already. Jackasses. Who knows what will happen?
$3,500.
Yeah. Who knows what will happen with the future Star Wars films? At least on the streaming front, though, we have Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew, Acolyte, and Andor 2 in the future. Not to mention Indiana Jones opens in less than a month. Then I said, I got my tickets. If they release stuff, I'll see it. And yeah, but this is on the 29th. Less than a month. Yep.
Take your
and
word
then
for it.
and then we got Bespin Bulletin. He's not a Fullerton. Come on, what's going on here with the open that? I don't want to open the picture. That theme is dumb on that front. Nobody wants to open the picture. So he says today there's a report from Making Star Wars, which is read that the film is the coming High Republic series. Blah blah. You could support Bespin on Patreon, and you should. I spoke with Making Star Wars last week, who had informed via a source of theirs that filming had wrapped on the Acolyte, and that he was in the midst of attempting to get more confirmation on what he was being told. Shortly after, I learned from my own independent sources over this past weekend that the Acolyte had finished filming, and I passed on my information to further verify what the outlet had been told. However, by that point, other sources had come forward for Making Star Wars to confirm what he had been hearing. As mentioned, I reached out to my sources over the weekend who confirmed to me that the principal photography on the series and that both the first and second units, which included the talent, has wrapped. One of my sources said that though the first and the second units, along with the cast, have wrapped, there are other units active, but that principal photography has concluded. My source added that principal photography on the Acolyte wrapped last month as planned and stated by the series creator Leslie Headland at Star Wars Celebration. And then he has like more information there, but it's probably like kind of a retread of what we've already talked about. So yeah. So there we go. Acolyte is done. Andor still going, And like I said, we probably won't really know what Andor lost by losing Gilroy when they lost him. He may clarify that down the road. You know what I mean? If something doesn't come out well. At the same time, there's always a chance that if this gets wrapped up really quickly and filming isn't done, any huge errors, anything that, any mistakes, anything that's really, truly bothering him will be able to, get fixed. You know what I mean? And then Jonesy says, Steven Spielberg praised Indy 5. Honestly, though, Jonesy, I want Indy 5 to be good. I'm glad he praised it and didn't just stay away from it. But what's he going to say? Fucking, it's bad. It's shit. Nobody's me. Like he kind of has to. But the one thing that I would say is that his comments on it do seem to be more specific than he was like with George and the Phantom Menace, where he just says instant classic, but is not specific about anything. He did say, so somebody else can make this besides me. That was like his like joke. And then he, but it's also, we're still in that spoiler phase where you don't want to say too much. You don't want to fuck with the marketing. So, but he goes on to say, I hope he hasn't jinxed the movie like he did on the set of the Phantom Menace by saying that's going to be great 3 times. Lucas is rich as hell, dresses like a plumber, pure class. I saw Harrison Ford was doing like one of those like Q&As on YouTube, and one of the questions was, if you were on a desert island, which director would you want to have be your cook? And it was like Mangold, Spielberg, Lucas, or whatever. And he said not George Lucas because he lives off of hamburgers and French fries. And I was like, that's our boy. That's our boy right there.
And Mongolian barbecue.
No.
Someone just told him it's meat.
You just
told him it's meat spaghetti.
You just elevated that fucking 20 spaces. It was Chinese takeout in Australia. It's not going to be that good, is it? All right, guys. I gotta go because Penny's not feeling well, so I gotta go take care of her and stuff like that. And but we got our hour in. We got a lot of shit talking. We got the story in here. We got Bespin Bulletin in here. And and make sure you read Bespin Bulletin's like full article for his thoughts. I just don't have the time today with these kids. But and Rob, buy your Indiana Jones ticket, man. What are you doing? What are you doing, Rob?
They told you they're not available.
What are you doing? How?
They're not selling them yet.
It's called Fandango.com. They're all over it.
No, I don't get Fandango. Yeah, go to Ticketmaster too and buy all your shit, right? No.
I mean,
I give my money to the theater. I don't go to these third-party fucking vendors. I don't do it.
You know what I like about the Fandango setup right now, though? is for me, not for you. It probably wouldn't be worth it for you. But when you do, I think like every 2 to 4 tickets, they give you $5 on Voodoo. So it's like every time.
Well,
yeah, I got a lot of
Fandango-
$5 movies that I like. Like that's what's made it cool. I got like fucking Predator, RoboCop in 4K for like $4 or for $5. That was free from that. So I'm like, that makes it kind of worth it. The convenience
when
of that.
Fandango ditched the sack lunch puppets, I ditched Fandango. So.
That's a weird take, Rob. Very weird take.
I'm that kind of guy.
You're the only guy who remembers that, Rob. You're the only guy.
Okay, I will not let it go. Simple and Ollie rule.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks for everyone for being a channel member, for supporting the channel, supporting bestinbulletin.com and MakingStarWars.net and everything else, and our friends. And I'll see you guys tomorrow, same time as always, probably.
Hey, Jason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, I'm a puppet guy. All right. I'm a puppet guy. Huh?
I gotta go. This guy is fuck this guy.
It's the end of the show. Come
on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
You know you should go.
Come on, let's go.
It's not about spaceships.
Hey!
All right, we did it. But guess what? It didn't end.